Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new Tino's Playroom live stream. I'm your host Anthony, aka Tino. We are here where we talk all things Lego, all things gaming, all things geeking out, movies, you know, just fun stuff. And we've been following the Reckless Ben Bricks and Minifigs saga. As you guys know from the latest update, Reckless Ben has been served, legal papers. Bricks and Minifigs have been able to successfully hold a restraining order against him, so he's not allowed to even say the word Bricks and Minifigs, or else he'll be arrested. Their GoFundMe was taken down, but now it's back apparently. But anyways, he can no longer release part 3 of his saga. He can no longer talk about Bricks and Minifigs. The whole thing seems to be over until, you know, the legal proceedings take place, and then maybe he's acquitted or exonerated or whatever, and then he'll be able to say whatever he wants. But for now, we have been left with Coffeezilla, legendary YouTube investigator, he uncovers scams, fraudsters, and fake gurus. So our boy Coffeezilla has taken on this story, and he's already at 4 million views in 22 hours. Holy shit, man. People are hungry for some Lego drama. But before we get into this story, folks, let me just take a second to thank our lovely YouTube members, aka Tino's friends, who make sure that this channel can keep on going, that I can keep justifying doing these late night live streams, you know, with you guys. Let me thank our lovely members, such as the forever legendary Jim D. Dukers, Marina Nimbus, Artful Decadence, Haley D, Hidden Iron, Ex-Marine, Ava Lesko, Polish Pusher, Jawad Mahfouz, Dana, Sufyan Ali, Maximus Cesare, Aiden, Copycat, Charlatar, and Eleanor Rigby, and Frog Drug 8282. Thank you guys so much, members, aka Tino's friends, get exclusive live streams every week, some fun extra content that you guys can enjoy. You also get my forever love and appreciation. Maximus, hello. Mauricio, hello. Scotty Pasquet from Canada. Mia Luca. Chris says the World Cup starts at 10. Guys, if you're watching a YouTube live stream about Lego, chances are you don't care about football. Chances are you don't care about the World Cup. I don't even know who's playing, to be honest with you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys enjoy Lego builds. Demi and I have been building the beautiful mushroom set. We need to finish that very soon. I've been building the Mos Eisley Cantina. Did part 2 of that yesterday with look at all this look at all this progress. Look at that. We got a little dome up in here. We've successfully attached the bar to the rest of it. Look at this beautiful little set. It's incredible. I've been really enjoying the build so far. So if you guys like Lego live streams, just building stuff, just chilling as I sit there and slowly, meticulously, brick by brick, build these things. We also do these live streams, you know, where we talk about Reckless Ben, Bricks, and Minifigs. Haley, hello. Some gaming as well. I'm taking on Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2. Lego reviews. There's a couple that I got to do. There's a couple of reviews I got to film before I leave. And coming soon, in late July, I'm finally putting together my clone army. I already have a bunch of clone stuff and Star Wars stuff, builds ready to go, but I'm just waiting for some base plates. I'm waiting for some more clones. Once I have everything, folks, we're going to go fucking crazy building a clone army together. That's going to be fucking wild. Anyway, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're here. Consider becoming a member if you're not a member. You know, you don't have to do anything, folks, to be supportive. Simply like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll love you a little bit more if you're a member. If you contribute. If not, we still love you. Fuck contributing. Anyways, let us get into it, folks. I'm not gonna waste your time. Coffeezilla has taken on the Lego drama. I found the 200,000 missing Lego. Let's go. It's a 54-minute video. We're gonna watch the whole thing.
$1,000 Lego collection went missing.
Friend of the show, Coffeezilla. He's not going to sue us. He's not a litigious man. Haley says, I'll be gifting soon. Haley, you've gifted almost all of these Tino's friends over here, so please, you shall do no such thing. Thank you very much, Haley. W's in the chat for Haley. If you're a member, chances are it's because of her. All right, let's go. 1, 2.
$200,000 Lego collection went missing, causing a lot of you to ask me to find it. And after seeing the cops point guns at YouTubers, people get arrested and sued for $1.3 million, I decided enough was enough. This looks like
Wait, he got sued for 1.3 mil?
People get arrested and sued for.
Oh my God. Versus, they're suing him for 1.3 mil. My God, this is still not going to make up for all the loss. You guys are fucked.
1.3 million, I decided enough was enough. This looks like a case for the internet detective, this time in the $10 million Lego studio. So I talked to every suspect involved. What I found shocked me.
Yeah, that is a dope fucking intro. This is some Netflix style, you know? HBO series style intro. What the fuck? The case of the missing Legos. Lego.
Okay,
Coffeezilla. Lego. Remove that S. Remove that S. Oh, painful. I know I've said Legos a couple times here. It's a mistake, folks. Okay, I'm still new to Lego. All right, Mr. Coffee. Mr. Zilla.
Okay, before we can find these missing Legos, let's give some background. A massive Star Wars collection was put on consignment at a Lego store called Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon. Consignment just means the owner, Brian Mansell, gave it to a
Dude,
store.
what a legendary location. I just want to literally, I want to travel to that area just to take a photo outside of that one Bricks and Minifigs. You know what I'm saying? Like such a, it's like the holy city for Lego fans at this point.
Or to sell, and he was supposed to get a cut when it sold. The entire time, he maintained ownership of the collection, and a social media post estimated it to be worth about $200,000. But then, on November 14th, 2024, everything went wrong.
On that fateful day, it all went to shit. Is that the day Harambe got killed?
This was the night that Crystal and Ben Gorman, the prior franchise owners of the Salem store, got kicked out by this guy. That is Brandon Best. He and his partner Josh Johnson ran a sister store in Eugene, Oregon, and Brandon drove up that night to kick the Gormans out. Brandon and Josh would be taking over the franchise in Salem, and this is the exact moment the Legos go missing. As that store is getting handed over, the question is Brian's collection in it? Here's what the official Bricks and Minifigs press release reads. Quote, after taking over the...
I can't believe how far this has all gone, by the way. Like, I can't believe we're sitting here now. Coffeezilla is doing his own investigation on the Bricks and Minifigs drama. Are you kidding me?
Store, we discovered a small number of sets valued between $2,000 to $5,000 that could be possibly related to Mr. Mansell's collection. But there's a problem here. There should be over 10 times...
Halal babe. Oh, that's so funny. Halal babe. There used to be a Harambe song I used to love. I had a whole... I'm sorry, guys. This is going to be very cringy. I once did like a Harambe themed... It wasn't a birthday thing. Like, I don't like celebrating my birthday, but like my friends were like, hey, come on, you got to do something for your birthday. So I invited my friends out to a bar. It was a friend's bar, so we could kind of control the music and stuff. And the theme was, all I want for my birthday is to bring back Harambe. It was justice for Harambe. All I want for my birthday is justice for Harambe. So we played, there was like 3 Harambe songs at the time that went viral. I may or may not have played those, you know? All I want for my birthday is justice for Harambe. And I still do. 10 years later, I still do. R.I.P. Harambe. You're the man.
that amount in this store, given their internal records and what we know the estimated value of this collection was. So if corporate's saying there was only $2,000 to $5,000 in the store, something happened to these Legos. But what? In order to solve this case, let's think about the suspects. First, who was there that night of the handover? It's only 3 people. Crystal and Ben Gorman, the former franchise owners, and Brandon Best, one of the new owners. These are our 3 biggest suspects, but they aren't the only ones.
Yo, that's kind of dope looking. The Lego characters on the wall. Haley, it is real. I am real.
I want to address a few other suspects at the very start here. First of all, maybe this is just all the result of, plain old thieves breaking in. What about that possibility?
Hi, I am Chris. I was the previous franchise owner who signed the collection agreement with Brian Mansell.
And I'm Benjamin Gorman. I am the silent partner who's really bad at being silent.
We did have a couple of break-ins at the store. None of Brian's collections were in the police report or stolen during those.
Okay, so the Gormans say emphatically it wasn't thieves, but if that's the case, what about the guy who was arrested? I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Reckless Ben. This is the YouTuber who started it all. With a documentary, I tracked down the thief who stole $200,000 of Lego. Maybe it's the perfect crime. Make a video tracking yourself. Now, for our theory, it's worth noting.
I mean, hey, you know, Ben was playing 4D chess all along.
Ben is currently facing a RICO lawsuit by Bricks and Minifigs. He was even targeted with a search warrant for stolen Legos.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
The owner reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos.
And on top of that, Reckless Ben was even accused of stealing the Legos by the current franchise owner.
I stole the Legos?
What do you think of the theory that it was Reckless Ben? He stole the Legos.
It's absurd. We didn't even know Reckless Ben. He had no interaction, no relation to us, no relation to the store. That doesn't hold any water.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Apologies to the genius cops in Utah who play different.
We play differently here.
But I don't believe that Reckless Ben stole the Lego, mostly because he couldn't. He just wasn't there that night, and I don't even think he knew.
He showed up, like, you know, was it like a year after the stuff was stolen? So yeah, the only reason he was there in the first place was because Brian was trying to get his Lego back and had been failing over and over again. So yeah, it's absolutely not our boy, Reckless Ben.
About these Legos, but who does Ben
Twisted Rage, hello. No worries. Thanks for being here. Marina, hello.
Fact is holding the Legos since he did this whole documentary series.
The guy who runs the entire company, Ammon McNeff, he personally came out to talk to us.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not?
No.
Is that a lie?
No.
That's a lie. You did
The way he said no, that was totally a lie.
take the Legos.
No. So we have our attorneys have visited. Like again. So who's like?
Brian Mansell.
Okay, and who is that?
He's a guy who had he had like 200,000.
The fact that he's pretending not to know Brian Mansell. By the way, he looked a lot better with his full beard. Just saying.
$1 worth of Legos in your guys' store.
Nope. Never happened.
My name is Ammon McNeff. I am the CEO of the Bricks and Minifigs brand.
So my name's Matt McNeff. I'm the COO of Bricks and Minifigs.
The people you just saw are the McNeff brothers. They agreed to speak with me to try to clear their name. I asked them, do they have the Legos?
What I can tell you is that we don't have it. We've never had access to them.
It seems to kind of go missing. Parts of it seem to go missing on November 14th.
Well, and I guess no, not at all. I'm going to say, you know, like that is not accurate at all. Because
So you think that the collection was in the store at the time or elsewhere?
Elsewhere. When you look at Mansell's own words that he reiterated to a podcast last year, he explicitly stated to another podcaster, the sets were moved off-site for security.
The collection will not be stored on site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere.
Now, one thing that's
I do remember him saying that, but eventually they did bring them back to the store, no? Because I do remember him saying some of them were stored. The way I understood it was some were stored outside, some were stored in the store. So the ones that are stored outside, he's been able to reclaim those, as far as I understand. Those aren't the problem. The problems are the ones that you kept in the store.
been a big subject of the
You're not crazy. He might not have eyebrows. He has like very light eyebrows.
Bricks and Minifigs kind of story is, hey, there are these off-site locations. Can you address what that is? Is that true?
So the off-site location in the letter that that corporate is referring to is the original press release that we released when we were launching the collection. In that press release, because we had previous break-ins, I specifically included the location that after this weekend, those Legos would be stored off-site to deter any future thefts. They were briefly stored off-site after that launch weekend while I bought safes for the back room, and then they were moved back into the store.
Oh, okay. Cleared it up. Thank you, Miss Crystal.
Okay, so for most of the time, the
Bubba Fat says, this is a great video. I audited Exhibit B with evidence and collecting weekly and came to similar conclusions as Coffeezilla. I also had access to M&R's photos, and we checked the sets to the storage and the inventory. Yeah, I remember M&R talking about it like a couple of weeks ago, mentioning that he bought some of those sets. So yeah, and he said that they matched. So I'm excited. Glad to know that you liked this video, Bubba. We're about to finish it up. Hopefully, I don't know what the conclusion is yet, but I hope it's a good one.
Sets were in the store after y'all got the safes in.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ammon McNeff suspects that a lot of the Legos weren't there that night. And then on the other hand, we just heard from Crystal and Ben Gorman explaining the off-site story, saying that later they no longer used those off-site locations. But what do we really know about the Gormans? They are the former franchise owners after all. I mean, shouldn't we be suspicious of everyone? They're one of our key suspects. They were there the night we lost Brian's collection. They were the creators of the consignment deal after all. And one group in particular is pointing their finger at them very hard. It's the McNeffs.
Yeah, Bricks and Minifigs. Bricks and Minifigs. They are convinced that it's the Gormans that are responsible for this.
Who say they were behind on payments.
We started getting calls from the landlord letting us know that Crystal was behind on the lease payments at the location. We had also gotten a couple of notices from some of our vendor partners that bills had not been paid by the store. And so we felt pretty strongly that there was going to be a risk of her just, you know, like attempting to file bankruptcy, doing some of these other types of things, which we've had franchisees do in the past, and that's problematic. So that's why we sent him up there to take some video.
Didn't they just like want to leave the country? Didn't they were just moving countries?
Footage. So we needed to just be prepared if we needed to do a hostile takeover, which, you know, like can happen in franchising, where a franchise owner just, you know, kind of tries to steal inventory and do some different things that way.
Okay, so Bricks and Minifig's story is that they were worried about the Gormans skipping town, so they sent Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24th, 2024. This is weeks before the takeover. Brandon takes a video of the store condition in preparation for this handover, but at this point, Brandon does not announce himself to Crystal Gorman. Later, though, on November 14th, once again, the same concern about the Gormans stealing or theft was expressed by the McNeffs.
Brandon was trying to make sure that they weren't taking things from the store, and so he was kind of trying to make sure that he wasn't putting things, you know, like hiding things in the back, and that he, like, and while he was watching that, trying to make sure Ben wasn't grabbing stuff from the store and moving it or doing anything along those lines, because he just got a weird feeling about the whole transition.
She took at least one, if not more than one, cartfuls of things out to her car with her coat draped over it.
So yeah, the McNeffs say, look, they don't trust the Gormans. And they explained it, you know, even further. They said, hey, there's some issues in her past.
She apparently has a retail theft and other criminal, like, arrests on her record that we were not aware of.
Oh my God, man. Trying to smear these people? Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Isn't it bad enough you kicked them out of their store? And you know what I mean? The way you did, and now you're trying to pin this whole thing on them?
When was that?
I don't know. This has been brought out by several people online now.
Now look, that's a huge accusation to bring up, and so obviously I wanted to talk to the Gormans about it.
They're like, she has a history of some type of burglary, theft.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're
wow.
saying.
Yeah.
Oh. Nope. Well, yes.
Well,
you
explain.
know about this.
Explain.
Yeah, when I was 19 years old.
How long ago is that?
I am 45 now. So this was in 1999. This, something that happened 25 years ago, has no reflection and no bearing on what happened in the last 2 years. My management.
Listen, lady, people can't learn from their mistakes. They can't grow and they can't mature. Whatever you did when you were 19 in 1998 or whatever the fuck, you know, you got to live with it. You're a thief, okay? You be stealing shit from Bricks and Minifigs. What did you steal in the 90s? Some Pogs? A yo-yo? What was it?
Of the store, what happened the night corporate.
What? You guys see that? Did they take down the video?
$1,000 Lego collection went missing, causing a lot of...
Okay.
Infuriates me. You're gonna try to publicly embarrass and shame
Bricks and Minifigs is coming after us in Lebanon, folks.
Me for somebody that was manipulated by local police departments when she was pregnant and 19 years old. Fuck you. That's my response to that. I am so sorry. You're gonna have to blur and cut a lot of this, but that pisses me off. I own what I have done. I own the mistakes that I have made. You cannot intimidate and bully me into backing down when I know that legally and morally I am in the right and I have the evidence to back it up.
Wow, this is getting kind of a
shit, man. Slinging shit at each other. He's fucking bringing up old arrests from the 90s. Come on, man. Mr. McNeff, you're on camera, man. Eamon McNeff, BAM CEO. We heard you telling the cops, hey, how can we get this guy arrested? We know what you're doing. We know you're colluding with the police, and you're part of some big corruption scandal.
Nasty and personal at this point, and I just wanted to give people kind of their side. But at every turn, I hope you understand, I'm getting contradictory stories, down to if the McNeffs knew about her history in the first place.
Like, they're bringing up something that I told them about.
Wait, you told them?
Told them. They asked me.
They said they had no idea. They said if we knew, we would have never hired her.
Because we would not have hired her had we known this.
I told them I had a record from when I was 18. There was a family issue that, and didn't go into all of the details, but they were like, that's so long ago, we're gonna hire you based on who you are now.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. You guys can make up your own.
I mean, I guess at this point it's kind of he said, she said. We don't know if it's true. If any of this was recorded, we're just gonna have to take her word for it. Look, I'm way more likely, call me biased, call me whatever, I'm way more likely to agree with anyone but Bricks and Minifigs at this point, okay? After listening to how these guys talk and seeing how they use lawsuits to intimidate people and to scare people into silence, I don't fuck with that. Okay, I'm not a fan of that. So I'm going to generally lean towards believing anyone except the McNeff family and people associated with Bricks and Minifigs.
My point is, one side says up, the other says down, and it gets to the point both sides start hinting that they have photographic proof from the night of November 14th that proves the other side is lying. So I'm like, look, at this point, let's stop talking. Show me the Legos.
Where I was told we are 100% have possession of photos that prove that the Gormans are lying. And then you guys are telling me we 100% have possession of photos that prove this side's lying. Who's gonna drop the photos first? I mean, I feel like someone just has to, somebody's right here.
And after a lot of convincing, both sides agreed to show me the photos, corporate and the Gormans. In fact,
man, this guy's, dude, Coffeezilla, man. People don't say no to Coffeezilla. When Coffeezilla calls, you pick up the fucking phone. When Coffeezilla calls, you pick up the phone, okay? Unless you're guilty. In this case, listen, credit to BAM, I guess, for picking up the phone and trying to show their receipts, okay? But I still don't fucking trust those slimy bastards, okay? They're trying to ruin some lives out here. And they've ruined the lives of all of their franchisees. That's already a 100% certainty.
Scheduled the calls to do this an hour apart from each other. But let's remember their positions for a second. The Gormans say whatever was left unsold of Brian's collection that was in that store spreadsheet was in Salem store the night of November 14th. Then you have corporate side. They say whatever was left that night was maybe $2,000 to $5,000 of Legos. The rest was either stolen by thieves, the Gormans, or held off site. It was not in that store. And now both sides, there's a lot to lose here, right? You've got the Gormans, who basically have been insinuated to have been stealing. And for Josh and Brandon too, the new franchise owners, there's a lot on the line. I reached out to Josh and he told me, I think her
Haley, that's so mean. That was their daughter, I think.
Pictures would only show a few sets and minifigs. I replied, so if I can prove that the Lego sets were in the store, that will prove Brandon was lying? Josh replies, if it shows something different, then yes, I will eat my words. So the stakes have been established. And let's see the evidence, starting with Matt McNeff. First, he showed me the video, October 24, 2024, for a baseline of how the store looked.
So this is the Salem Kaiser location, is that correct?
It's the Salem Kaiser location, yes.
So is it fair to say I'm seeing quite a few Legos here? I mean, I'm seeing a store.
Okay, I'm blocking Mr. Zilla. Haley, I know, I was just kidding. That was just a bad joke. And they had two dogs, actually. They had two dogs fighting or playing.
Legos, you'd agree?
There's a good amount of Lego on hand. This isn't what I would say is a well-stocked Bricks and Minifigs, but it's not.
Okay, wait. I gotta see this footage again.
Location, is that correct?
Salem Kaiser location, yes.
So is it fair to say I'm seeing quite a few Legos here? I mean, I'm seeing a store of Legos. You'd agree?
There's a good amount of Lego on hand. This isn't what I would say is a well-stocked bricks and minifigs, but it's not terrible. It's
looks pretty terrible, man. This looks kind of fucking bare. Like, why would you go to this? I mean, okay, I guess if you want to buy used Lego, you go to the store, but it looks fucking depressing to shop here, man. Holy shit, it's like 6 boxes on the wall.
I would say a little below average as far as overall stock. So now let's go to November 14th. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So November.
Is their pick a brick section that good or something? Because this looks like a fucking sad ass store.
14th. When Brandon was in there helping.
Wait, this is the day. This is like the big day.
This is the day.
Hold on, I gotta hurt myself emotionally for this.
Okay.
This is a big deal. This is D-Day. This is
Yo, that went to the perfect person. Bubba Fat, congrats on becoming a member. Marina, thank you so much for gifting 1 Tino's Playroom membership. Let's go. We got a brand new friend. Bubba Fat, congratulations on becoming a member of the channel. Marina, thank you so much for the contribution. That is so kind and generous. The kindest. Who's playing, by the way, Marina? Who's playing right now? Mexico versus who?
the big moment. This is Brandon takes over the store. We don't know where the Legos are after this moment.
We don't know where the Legos are after this moment. And I want to point out again that we've had this for a while. We haven't, but this is the first time we've shown this publicly. We've been waiting for our attorneys to give us the approval to say, hey, this is okay now to share in this capacity. So this...
Well, Coffeezilla getting all the scoops. Coffeezilla getting the scoops. Coffeezilla getting the exclusives. I don't know. I still don't know if I believe them, to be honest with you.
We'll go through these pictures. This is what Josh saw, or not Josh, sorry, Brandon saw. He took pictures of everything in the store, all the inventory in the store. This is what the shelves look like compared to what you just saw a moment ago.
Dana, pleasure to have you here. As Haley says, Palestinian Queen is here.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot less. Just to
do all the inventory in the store, or not Josh, sorry, Brandon saw. This, we'll go through these pictures. This is what Josh saw.
This is what Josh saw. Okay, empty. This is how you leave a store? This is...
Or not Josh, sorry, Brandon saw. He took pictures of everything in the store, all the inventory in the store. This is what the shelves look like.
Okay. Pretty bare.
Compared to what you just saw a moment ago.
Okay, there's a couple of Star Wars sets right there. Just one, actually. This is what, Wakanda Forever? Damn, I didn't even know they made that. Okay, yeah. That's like the Onyx or whatever.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot less. Just to state the obvious. Go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like way less.
So yeah, the pictures I was being shown on November 14th, those shelves looked emptier than they did on the day of October 24th. But to be fair to the Gormans, they addressed the empty shelves themselves.
As we get to the very end of this video in particular, right here, you'll see that empty space right here. So this is the retired and certified set section that we have to keep separate from the new in box current sets being sold by Lego. All those empty spaces up there were the sets that we had on display during the day from Brian's collection that every night when the store closed, we pulled off and put back into the safe and then put back out in the morning.
So when they say, see, there's empty space on the shelves, yeah, because we put them in safes at night to keep them safe.
Because we have giant windows.
Yeah, it's an explanation that kind of makes sense given the history of burglary. Now, of course, this is something I had to ask the McNeffs about.
Is this a...
They're putting stuff in the safes, huh? Listen, they look like honest people. If I'm just like judging by, like, they look confident. Like when the Gormans talk, they seem like they're telling the truth. But some of this is starting to sound like, not elaborate, but like, you know, like, well, the reason there's no, because we hit them all. Like, I'm not, again, I'm against bricks and minifigs. I side with the Gormans. I side with Reckless Ben. I side, obviously, with Brian Mansell. But like, okay, interesting. I want to keep watching.
Case of, did y'all see Star Wars sets in the back?
Mexico 1, South Africa 0. Okay, nice. Ooh, Bubba says, I wanted those pics, but Coffeezilla didn't want to share with me. But Bubba, I mean, you tried. You tried, sir. Bless you for trying.
Did y'all not see the Star Wars sets in the back? Did he take, not in the back, but specifically in a safe. Like there were a bunch of Star Wars sets in a safe. Did Brandon see those? Has there been talk of those? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. My understanding is that he took pictures of everything, and all those photos I showed you of the Star Wars were all the photos, or was literally all the Star Wars inventory in the store.
Yeah, the McNeffs say all of the photos should be with Brandon of all the Star Wars items. And to be fair to them, they showed me a lot more pictures and even showed me a spreadsheet of all the Star Wars sets in the store the night Brandon took it over.
Yeah, Coffee, why are you coming behind me? I moved for you. Fuck.
And it valued to about like $5,000 to $10,000 or so. But then I had to ask. Valued to about like $5,000 to $10,000 or so. But then I had to ask.
Oh, sorry, here's another kind of set.
Okay.
Do you think y'all have all of these?
Very likely.
Okay.
Again, I'd be surprised if we didn't.
But then I couldn't help myself. I started to bring up some of Crystal's photos to see if they matched up.
Have you seen this before?
Not that I recall.
So do you see that?
Yep.
So do you see it's in like some kind of like a safe thing? I don't know if you can see the sides there.
Looks like a bookshelf to me, but sure.
Okay, sure, yeah. So I think the important thing is making sure that all of these are in the inventory for Mansell.
Sure. Sure, that's cool.
75041?
Yep. The Vulture Droid.
75169?
169 I'm not seeing, so there may be... Okay, so there's one that is not on our list.
Let's try this. 10240?
Okay, nope, not seeing that one either.
What about 9493?
So there are sets in Crystal's pictures that are not appearing on the inventory list that Bricks and Minifigs claim that's Brian's full collection. Like, that's what he has, right? That 5 to 10K worth. So I'm just going to go back just a second.
I don't see that one either. So it may be the...
Samsung just gifted another Tino's Playroom membership. Thank you so much. We got a brand new Tino's friend, Samsung. You and Marina, we appreciate you. Heroes of the day, Samsung and Marina, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We got 2 new members. Let's go. Let's go.
Those were locked at the time, and Brandon did not get those pictures.
All right, that's kind of a problem because the Gormans had over 200 photos of this store. I definitely knew looking at these photos, there's a lot more Legos in the Gormans photos, by quite a lot that Brandon's photos just didn't show. But corporate didn't really see it that way.
But still, in the grand scheme of things, we're not talking, again, 10 times the amount of sets here.
I don't know. I haven't shown all the photos yet. I don't know exactly how much.
If there's a calculable figure that we can look at and say, great.
Yo, there's a lot of Lego in those photos.
This is what was there. I promise you, it's not $100,000 worth of Lego. And so where's the rest of it? You got me. I don't know.
Maybe I'm a little too in my head about this U-Haul story. You don't think it could have been some U-Haul thing? There's no way.
Oh, yeah, have we talked about the U-Haul yet? We gotta talk about the U-Haul for a second. This is another one of those things that was like really disputed between the two parties, was this U-Haul that supposedly was driven up to the store the night of the takeover.
So when Brandon came to the store that night, he was driving a U-Haul.
A U-Haul, you say?
Truck.
Now, in typical fashion, this was immediately disputed.
Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
It wasn't until after he told me he was taking the keys and locking me out that I really kind of paid attention to the fact that he had a large, not the small, the large U-Haul truck.
So yeah, I just kept hearing up.
1 sec, sorry, I was reading chat a bit.
Immediately disputed.
Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys.
This guy looks like a liar, by the way. This guy 100% looks like a liar, and he looks like the guy from the Try Guys who cheated on his wife. He looks like the guy from the Try Guys who cheated on his wife, and he just looks like a straight-up liar.
He's from Crystal. He was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
It wasn't until after he told me he was taking the keys and locking me out that I really kind of paid attention to the fact that he had a large, not the small, the large U-Haul truck.
So yeah, I just kept hearing about this U-Haul truck. Now, why is it significant, U-Haul or not? Well, one, a U-Haul truck can fit a lot of Legos, but the big reason it mattered to me was because I was actually called by an ex-employee of the Bricks and Minifigs store in Eugene, Oregon. Remember, that's the one that Brandon and Josh owned, and he told me something very interesting.
I'm a former employee, started in 2024.
Yo, Janetti Sketty just gifted another membership, and now Slop Loma has become a member. You guys are being so sweet, everybody gifting little membies. We got 3 new Tino's friends today. You guys are fucking awesome. Janetti Sketty, Marina, and Sum. You guys are the MVPs of the night. Thank you so much for being so kind and sweet.
And I was working under the old manager, Brian, and he sold the store to...
And he told me something was because I was actually called by an ex-employee of the Bricks and Minifix store in Eugene, Oregon. Remember, that's the one...
Man, dude, the plot thickens. Bro, Coffeezilla already. We're 20 minutes in. This is some incredible detective work.
That Brandon and Josh owned. And he told me something very interesting.
I'm a former employee, started in 2024, and I was working under the old manager, Brian, and he sold the store to Brandon Best and Josh.
What store was this? Bricks and Minifigs where?
Eugene.
Okay, now what did you see that made you want to talk to me?
I saw Reckless Ben's YouTube video about the Salem store closing down because when I was talking to my co-workers about the situation about Salem, and we were told through other employees that it was just a bad area to work in. It was like haunted, if you will, is what was going around. But after seeing the video of Reckless Ben, he exposed them, and it makes a lot more sense with what we dealt with Brandon and Josh. Like, oh, Crystal stole Lego sets and bolted out of the country.
Who says that?
Brandon Best told us. When he was jumping off all the Lego sets to us that night. It was a bunch of used Lego sets. That's that were like saran wrap. They got Star Wars City. There's just a lot of stuff. It was like the medium size.
Star Wars City? He's talking about Cloud City? That is very expensive. If he's talking about that Cloud City, that is a rare one. This is kind of sketchy to me. Anytime you... Like, first of all, why is the guy's voice modulated? Like, if he's being so specific with these people delivered these sets to me on that night, they're gonna know who you are. Why are you hiding your voice? So this just seems to, like, I don't know. Interesting. I'm just following along right now. Y'all know where I stand.
Nice U-Haul truck.
Wait, they brought a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, from Salem to Eugene.
And to Eugene, and it had a bunch of Star Wars sets on it?
Yeah, Star Wars sets, like everything. They have a bunch of used stuff too.
Wait, when and was this when they took over the store from Crystal?
I believe so, yes. Yes, because he said that Crystal stole Legos and left the country.
While he has a U-Haul of Legos?
Yeah.
Interesting. Weird.
So then he said, we're just going to hold on to this stuff until corporate tells us where we have to distribute it. And we're like, oh, well, it'd make more sense if we could take it because we're kind of struggling with, the product to put on the shelves.
Oh my gosh. We really got to find out. Was there a U-Haul that night or not? Because everybody's disagreeing about it. This Eugene, Oregon guy says, oh yeah, a U-Haul.
But you think they muted him? You think they muted the part where he says Cloud City?
U-Haul showed up with Star Wars sets in it. Brandon was talking about the Salem store. You've got Matt McNeff saying there was no U-Haul there. It was a
Lego Star Wars and Lego City. Okay. Also, they're removing the. Why do they not want the word Lego in there?
Rental car. You've got Crystal saying, yeah, I thought it was really weird. There was a U-Haul truck there. So I told the McNeffs, I really got to find out what the truth is here.
If you know anything about it, let me know, because that's just something I heard.
I do, and it has nothing to do with the Salem store. Well, at least not the Salem store in the way that it is there. Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
So when there was the handoff, there wasn't a U-Haul, it was a rental car.
Correct. He was there in a rental car.
Yeah, Ned Fulmer. Thank you, Kate from Canada. Ned Fulmer is this fucking dude.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think any of the, like, if you were to look at the footage, the rain cameras, all that stuff, you won't see a U-Haul sitting anywhere in the parking lot.
So after hearing all of this, I realized, look, I just got to find the evidence. So I start sifting through these photos I have, right? I realize I have a parking lot photo. I check it. No U-Haul, just a red truck out there. I check another photo where you can see the window, but the problem is it's night outside, so you can't see. And so I'm looking at everything I can, and there's just nothing, And I have this alternate angle.
If there's oh my god, dude, this is such great fucking work. If there is a U-Haul, that's it. Bam is 100% fucking guilty. If there's a U-Haul, if Coffeezilla can prove that there's a U-Haul, I will believe any accusation that is said about Bricks and Minifigs from now till the rest of my life.
Looking at that, and then, wait a minute. Zoom in on that photo.
Holy shit, it's in the picture. Oh my, I can't believe I doubted them. I can't believe I doubted Coffeezilla for a single second. There's a U-Haul in the picture. Oh my god, man. Holy shit. Those fuckers, man. So they put the Lego in the fucking U-Haul, then drove it to the other fucking store?
The brightness of this photo a little bit, and my gosh, there's a U-Haul in the parking lot right outside of the store the night of November 14th, 2024. This is something that Matt said he had seen footage of, and it couldn't be true.
And again, I believe I've seen footage from that night that shows clearly out into the parking lot, and there's no U-Haul.
After seeing this, I said, I really have to make a call. And that's when the story changed.
So last night, I talked with...
God damn. Well, Bubba says this is a red herring. Bubba, we can't handle this anymore. There are too many twists and turns.
Matt McNeff. I brought up this question of the U-Haul. He told me emphatically there was no U-Haul. Y'all came to me this morning. You said, hey, we looked into it. There actually was a U-Haul there that night. Can you clear up what that's about?
So there's actually two different things that are going on here, just to help you understand. And I don't know if you want this particularly not on the record, but we do know of a disgruntled former employee that worked at another location that back on the 24th of October, there was a U-Haul that went to a storage unit in Salem for another previous franchisee, for a different situation that we had just gone through some things, and he had a previously, hey, I have some inventory that I didn't turn over that I was supposed to. It's at this storage location.
How are you running this fucking company, man? What the fuck is up with this company? People are randomly driving U-Hauls of, oh, I have some inventory here, I have some inventory there. What the fuck is this operation you're doing, man? Fucking domestic Lego theft on a giant, nationwide level? What is happening here? Oh, we had another disgruntled employee. Oh, this one. This was another disgruntled owner that we, what the fuck? How many disgruntled employees and ex-owners do you have? What is happening at this company? What kind of shitty company culture you guys got over there, man? Why are there so many disgruntled employees?
You guys
caught in 80p. Yeah, that was not 4K, but Lego 4K. It's bricked up, okay? It's pixelated like a Lego.
Come pick it up. And so Brandon was sent on that day to pick up with a U-Haul inventory that then he moved down, but that was October 24th.
So when we're talking about this ex-employee, you're saying they are conflating the October 24th event of the U-Haul coming up to Eugene with Legos with sometime after November 14th, after the store takeover. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
Yes.
So this is now kind of a strange story. Corporate is saying there was a U-Haul at the Eugene store dropping off Lego.
But a month before?
But that was from a different night, different collection. The CEO says Brandon showed up to Salem on October 24th for his secret shopper job with Crystal. And separately, he also was getting a different collection of Legos that also included Star Wars. And that's what he brought to the Eugene store, and the former employee is remembering. Then, weeks later, on November 14th, Brandon supposedly shows up again with a U-Haul, but the reason isn't for hauling Legos.
Brandon flew in to Eugene that night, at midnight. So flew from Utah on the 13th, but landed in Oregon on midnight of the 14th. Went and got a rental truck. And then went and stayed at a trailer that had previously been moved up there in anticipation, meaning a camper trailer, in anticipation of the potential hostile takeover previously.
Is that why he had a U-Haul? Is that the reason he had a U-Haul, was for this camper, or what's going on with the?
Yes. So then what happens is he takes his rental vehicle truck and he tries to connect the trailer, the camping trailer, to that truck, and it's not rated for that particular weight, and he realized, oh crap. He called around and found that U-Haul had a rating.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. Are you fucking kidding me now? You have this whole fan fiction about him. What? We're gonna believe this right now?
For, one of their box trucks. And so he grabbed that, went and got it at 10 a.m. on the 14th. And so he then went and hooked that trailer up to the camping trailer, to a U-Haul, drove that trailer down to another location where he could set up the camping trailer in Salem, dropped off the camper trailer, and then he arrived in a U-Haul to the Salem store. And then...
Okay. He's doing this right now. You know what I mean? You could just do this, scratch your ear. Some people, do, oh, I gotta scratch my ear with this hand. What is happening? What the fuck is this? Is this story right now? What are we doing? This is exhausting. I don't even want to go back and listen. I've lost track of what happened. He got there on the 14th because he traveled at midnight, and he arrived at midnight of the 14th, and he went to the trailer park, but then the trailer couldn't get onto his truck, so he had to go get a U-Haul, and then what?
Went in, said hi to Crystal, and then as she was leaving, the door shuts, and so he locks it, calls the locksmith. Takes him a while to finish up the changing of the locks. Brandon at this point is pretty exhausted, so. And he has an hour drive back to Eugene to drop off the rental truck. So he drops it off at, midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that, grabs the rental truck, and then heads back up to the camper trailer in Salem. And then, it's probably gets in at around 2 or 3 in the morning, spends a couple of, that's a little bit of sleep before he has to head back to the store at 9 a.m. before the other employees get there. The timeline that is trying to be portrayed just makes absolutely zero sense.
Okay, so I asked, obviously, for documentation of all of this from Brandon. And here's what I got. First, the U-Haul contract on November 14th. This checked out what we already know. Then I got
Haley, of course, fully licensed. Concealed carry.
A photo, the last one Brandon took in the Salem store, dated 9:44 p.m., where you can see what looks like the inside of a bird cage that the Gormans had. And lastly, I was sent a photo Brandon took of the mileage in the U-Haul as he dropped it back off at the rental place on November 15th, 12:41 a.m. Now, the time gap there is about 3 hours between the last photo in Salem to dropping the U-Haul off, which is a bit of a problem for our timeline.
Yeah, it took like 4 hours. I mean, I worked till like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I get up early for, my other job.
You moved 4 hours of Legos out of this truck.
Yeah.
All right, so as weird as this U-Haul thing is, the timeline just doesn't fit, to be honest.
He spent 4 hours unloading a truck? Are you, what?
Took 4 hours to unload, you can't also drive to another city, load and unload and drop off the U-Haul in that time. But still, even if this is true, it's pretty weird, and it's one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard, to have a U-Haul thing back to back. One of the times you're picking up Legos, the other time you're not, you're taking a camper. Nevertheless, without more proof, we kind of have to move on to another theory of how to find these missing Lego. This time, let's take the photographs that we have and reconstruct what was in the night on November 14th. Remember, that's the moment we lost the Lego. And this time, we're going to combine it with 2 more things. First, from corporate, I got the point of sale records from the Salem store from 2023 to 2024. And secondly, from Crystal Gorman, I got her internal records of Brian's inventory of what was sold or not in order to pay him and keep track of prices. Now, before we piece things together, I need to address something. At the beginning of this story, you saw the social post saying this collection was worth $200,000. That's what everyone knows this story as, the $200,000 Lego collection. But sadly, that post was entirely wrong. In Crystal Gorman's inventory, which has a high and low estimate value of these various Lego items, the real estimated value is about $107,000. They give high estimates and low estimates, but that's right there in the middle. And for simplicity, I'll just be using averages and estimates here, but understand that, these numbers are not firm, given that they're unsold Legos. It's just rough possibilities. But the point is, it's worth nowhere near to...
That's true. You could sell the same set for $500. Someone else could buy it for $300. It really depends on the seller, on the buyer, on the conditions, on whether or not the set is popping off for a reason or another. Lego prices are kind of like stocks. They're like comic books. It goes up, it goes down. Okay, it's kind of predictable, but also sometimes unpredictable.
$100,000. And Reckless Ben, the one who made the original video covering this, said that surprised him.
Yeah, this entire time, literally every single person's been telling me there were $200,000. Like, that's how much, you could sell all these sets for.
My original assessment of about $200,000 was going up to his father's house and looking in 3 different rooms with all the sets. It was before I'd actually gone through and had set numbers and done an actual evaluation. I looked at it and went based on as things progressed, and as I started to delve more into the actual inventory and evaluating it, that number changed. But we put out the press release well in advance of the event itself, so that press release went out before I had those full numbers. So we went, this is a nice even number that will grab attention and bring people into the store, so we went with that.
And to believe that is accurate at the high end. It was one of those things where when she was looking through and going, well, it says this and it says this, you don't think even at the high end?
You haven't actually seen the spreadsheet.
No, I haven't.
You might want to cut that part out because he hasn't actually seen the inventory sheet.
The spreadsheet says about from between 85,000 to 120 something thousand, in the midpoint about 107 or something like that of what was inventory. Does that
This lady just looks unbothered. That's all. Like she's happy, she's smiling, she looks relaxed, she seems like she has nothing to lose. So this is why I kind of tend to believe her. She seems like an honest actor in this whole situation. Could she have done better in the past? Like, again, if what she says is to be believed, Bricks and Minifigs kind of like threw her out of the store. They kicked her out. They had Brandon over there making sure she was, you know, she wasn't lingering and like, but she seems super chill when she talks. She seems like super confident within herself, and like she's just smiling all the time and laughing. Now, obviously, the Bricks and Minifigs CEO has no reason to smile or laugh. His company's eating shit every single day. But they seem like they're hiding something. She genuinely seems like she's telling the truth. I don't know. I'm just getting like, just reading the person. Aitor sends a super chat. Thanks so much, Aitor. And says, nothing strange here. They went from there was no U-Haul to then recalling in detail everything that was supposedly happened with the U-Haul truck from something that happened in 2024. Yeah, exactly. So Bubba Fat says they also didn't count them. Bam is lying, but the U-Haul is a red herring.
Sound right to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been a really big point of misinformation to clear up, because if we're ever going to find the missing Lego, we need to start with the right number, the right value. It's about $107,000. Now, between 2023 and 2024, the Gormans record sales of about $24,000 of Brian's collection in their inventory tracking list. And of those sales, Brian was entitled to about 65 to 70% of it. He was paid $17,000, which roughly tracks with that. Which means on November 14th, the big night, the remaining amount of Brian's collection that should have been in there is about $82,000. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize.
Over. Just write the check. He did the math for you, Bricks and Minifigs. Write the man a check for $82,000. You should have done that 2 weeks ago, but try to make this go away. Write the man a check for $82,000. That is the number that would have made this all go away, but instead you chose pain and suffering. You chose to ruin the lives and the businesses of all of your independent store managers that own your franchisees. Horrible PR. Like, unbelievably shitty CEO. Like, what a horrible leader. What a horrible boss. Like, you just ruined 300 people's lives. That's just the owners. We're not even talking about all the employees that are going to lose their jobs if all these stores close down.
This is a very different number than corporate provided, who found only $2,000 to $5,000 of it linked to Brian. And later they said they only found $13,000 to $15,000 in total Lego Star Wars.
So you're talking maybe $11,000 to $15,000 total Star Wars, and that's all Star Wars inventory in the whole store.
So that's corporate side of the story, but I didn't want to take their word for it.
So they say there's 11K's worth, huh?
They only found $13,000 to $15,000 in total Lego Star Wars.
So you're talking maybe $11,000 to $15,000 total Star Wars, and that's all Star Wars inventory in the whole store.
So that's corporate side of the story, but I didn't want to take their word for it. So I went through Crystal's photos myself, which she shared with me, and hired people to go through and hand tag the Star Wars Legos that were in these photos. We looked.
Oh my God, dude. Motherfucker is doing the Lord's work. He hired people. He hired people to individually go through these pictures. Dude. Coffeezilla, my man. That is some dedication to the craft. You know what? But a story like this, because Reckless Ben, honestly, dedicated himself so much to making that amazing part one, you know, that original expose. So he deserves no less. Like, if someone is going to investigate this thing and try to help clear Reckless Ben and try to find what happened to this Lego to try to make Brian Mansell whole, Coffeezilla is the man to do it, because he puts the time and effort into this, into his investigations, into his videos. So chapeau, Mr. Zilla.
Through over 200 plus photos, multiple videos, and matched what we saw with Brian's collection. In the end, I ended up with about $21,000 of Legos, matching Brian's collection, that can be proven to be in the store on the night of November 14th. Now,
okay, that's already. So Bam claims that there's 13 to 15,000 of all Lego, I think, including or not including Brian's collection. They found at least 21K's worth, so they're already lying. And there must be tons of other sets inside of the safes, correct?
To state the obvious, that's about 3 to 5 times what corporate estimated, at least on their press release. Now, yes, there are inherent errors in these estimates. Maybe we picked up some Lego that matched Brian's collection, but wasn't Brian's. But even though this is a bigger number than corporate said, I have to admit, even with pretty generous assumptions being made, there's still a huge gap of about $61,000 here that I just couldn't find. But then I learned Brian had made a special side deal with M&R Productions. who had recently
Hey, shout out M&R. Ryan
purchased some Legos from him. And this is where it starts to get messy. So these are the pictures that M&R Productions sent me, looking at the Lego that Brian sold him. This was stuff reportedly in store.
But did he buy that stuff? I can't remember. I had seen M&R's video about this. Did M&R claim to buy these? Were those part of the $200,000 collection, or did he just make a deal with Brian Mansell in the past? Or did he specifically buy from that collection?
And it's interesting because of an early inventory list,
which so Bubba says Crystal's photos only show the 20K, including the safes. Okay.
Had a column called location that Crystal used, and it listed a lot of the Star Wars items as being located in what they called storage. Now, previously I was told that all of the stuff in storage was put back in the store, but there's a bunch that's on this list that I can't find in the store that seem to appear in these pictures. Now, I've been assured, by the way, that most of these Legos were not part of the inventory spreadsheet. They were never given to Bricks and Minifigs. This is a separate part of the collection, but I did a check, and 100% of the items that match the Brian collection inventory just so happen to be listed with a location of storage. So this starts to make things incredibly fuzzy, and I'm inclined to believe that a lot of these are part of that same inventory list. Now, if we take that value of the side deal, that's about $10,000 to $20,000 that's not actually missing. Now, it was at this point I started looking more at the point of sales records. I realized maybe we could find some.
Just a sec, because M&R did put out like a statement, put out a post on his YouTube channel. Was it on YouTube? No. Was it a tweet that I saw or something? Something about maybe there being a misunderstanding between him and Coffeezilla.
Some of this missing Lego there too. So this is from the Salem internal store records. Like, I guess this is what is entered when someone does a sale, and it's everything from September 2023 to November 2024 of Star Wars anything. And by the way, before we continue, yes, this was all a lot of work. If you want to, please support us on Patreon. That's how this show gets made. But anyways, according to those records, about 50...
Honestly, well deserved. Dude fucking deserves it, man. He's out there paying people to look at Lego pictures, to compare the store inventory. He's doing more work to figure this out than the actual company. He's putting more effort to solve this than Bricks and Minifigs, bro.
$1,000 in sales went through during this time period in a way that matched Brian Mansell's collection. Now, that really worried me because Crystal's inventory list showed only $24,000 in sales for Brian, and Brian was only paid for that amount. But suddenly, I remembered back to a time when I spoke to Crystal, and I asked how much was sold prior to the takeover.
Which is something similar from what you told me, Crystal.
Yeah.
You told me, hey, it was about 50-something thousand.
Yeah.
But Brian was only paid 17,000.
Okay.
And it should have been about double that. And I'm just trying to make sense of that, given that everyone's accusing each other of theft right now. You understand?
I mean, without seeing any of those records, without seeing those individual tickets, I can't answer that any better.
Okay, this is kind of a problem. The math ain't math in here. 65 to 70% of 50,000 is almost double what we believe Brian was paid. And digging into the details, it turns out a lot of these sales come from what Crystal's spreadsheet actually categorizes as layaways, meaning they were marked as having been sold, but layaways are when someone puts a down payment on an item and later pays it off. But the problem was there were a lot of these, worth about $20,000 in layaway, and that felt a little strange to me. And because of that, I asked Josh Johnson, the incoming owner, and he responded, quote, "There were 2 to 3 items on layaway when they took over."
So on the list of that,
they had $20,000 worth of layaway items? Why are you making things so fucking complicated? You're already consigning the stuff, and now you're putting stuff that's on consignment on layaway? What are we doing here? Really? Is this what's happening? Layaway? Chris says it's halftime, so I can check the stream. Hey, Chris, how's this World Cup going? The football be footballing?
On the inventory list, do you know about how many layaways?
I haven't gone through and done a count, but I know it was vastly
Okay,
more.
I'm sorry. I'm going to rewind a
than
second. I'm
2 to
sorry, guys.
Math in here, 65 to That really worried me because Crystal's inventory list showed only $24,000 in sales for Brian, and Brian was only paid for that amount. But suddenly, I remembered back to a time when I spoke to Crystal, and I asked how much was sold prior to the takeover.
Which is something similar from what you told me, Crystal.
Yeah.
You told me, hey, it was about 50-something thousand.
Yeah.
But Brian was only paid 17,000.
Okay.
And it should have been about double that. And I'm just trying to make sense of that, given that everyone's accusing each other of theft right now. You understand?
I mean, without seeing any of those records, without seeing those individual tickets, I can't answer that any better.
Okay, this is.
By the way, we got 51 viewers right now. They're pretty fucking awesome. This is a small 54, but this is a small channel, folks. We don't get a lot of people tuning in here all the time during our live. So welcome. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We build Lego live on stream here. I review Lego. We play video games. I'm currently playing Dark Souls 2. We have a lot of fun here. A lot of live streams if you're into that, but also some pre-recorded videos. I'm trying to get into that. Okay, have some fun. Subscribe. Thanks for being here.
Kind of a problem. The math ain't math in here. 65 to 70% of 50,000 is almost double what we believe Brian was paid. And digging into the details, it turns out a lot of these sales come from what Crystal's spreadsheet actually categorizes as layaways, meaning they were marked as having been sold, but layaways are when someone puts a down payment on an item and later pays it off. But the problem was there were a lot of these, worth about $20,000 in layaway, and that felt a little strange to me. And because of that, I asked Josh Johnson, the incoming owner, and he responded, quote, there were 2 to 3 items on layaway when they took over.
20K worth of layaway, bro. I'm sorry, that's nuts,
and that felt
man.
a little strange to me. And because of that, I asked Josh on layaway when they took over.
So on the list of that, on the inventory list, do you know about how many layaways
I haven't gone through and done a count, but I know it was vastly more than 2 to 3.
It was about 98.
That makes sense.
So there were about $15,000 to $25,000 worth of sets on layaway.
Okay.
That's just the part that's surprising. That's the part that I can't.
So they've only been paid a portion. So when something is on layaway, someone puts a down payment. So if the Lego set is $100, hey, I'll put a $20 down payment on it. Please keep it for me on layaway. Okay, I'll pay you off later, but just don't sell it to anyone else, right?
My head around. I go, how could, let me just be really honest. I don't believe there was that much layaway. I don't know. I don't know how that's possible. How could there be that much layaway? I don't know. It's like I don't believe, because I was talking to some people about bricks and minifigs. They go, yeah, there's some layaway. There's not that much layaway. I talked to people who were neutral, kind of on corporate side, but also people who were just normal bricks and minifigs people. They say there's not that much layaway. Help me understand why there's $20,000 worth of layaway here.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. If you talk to other bricks and minifigs locations, layaway is extremely rare. I think outside of the Brian's collection,
Okay, good. I'm not crazy here. So then why was there so much layaway there?
No, absolutely not. Outside of Brian's collection, I think at the time we maybe had 2 used sets on layaway outside of his collection. Okay. It was not a common thing traditionally. I don't know that we'd ever done layaway before the collection came in. With Brian's collection, it was a little bit different because so much of this collection were new in box, all in one place, reasonably priced, and a lot of the harder to find items. And so customers would come in and put, I'm going to guess probably half of those layaway items were not going to be sold to the person who took them on layaway, because we had several that would put them on layaway and then change their mind. So this was something like, somebody would come in and want 10 different sets, but only be able to buy 1. Can I put the rest of those on layaway so you don't sell them? I'll pay $10 to put these sets on layaway. Traditionally with layaway, we would ask for 10% down. They'd have 30 days to make their next payment, or we'd refund the layaway amount and then put it back on the shelf. Because this collection was...
You refund the layaway? No, you don't refund it. You can't refund. I'm sorry. Like, I know it would be nice to refund the layaway, but like if someone gave you $10 to put a $200 set or a $100 set off the shelves, and then it was off the shelves for a month, you could have sold that set to someone else, but no, because it was on layaway, you didn't sell it. And then if they're like, I've changed my mind, you give them the layaway money back? That's just bad business. I'm sorry. Like, no, you made me take the set off the shelf for a month. Someone could have bought it, but it was on layaway, so I didn't sell it. I'm going to keep that $10 as a tax for missing out on potential sales. Okay, that is just bad business right there.
The collection it was, and I wanted to give these people the opportunity to, to get these sets we were a lot more generous with how long and the amount of payments that people could make towards the layaway. So a lot of these, we had several of them. I think one of the Ewok villages, we put on layaway 4 different times, and then it came off of layaway and back on layaway and then off and then sold. So a lot of these would have gone on and off.
Okay, the Ewok village. So okay, but just as a new Lego collector, but someone who's been a collector my whole life, who's collected action figures, comic books, various things. And now that I'm getting into Lego and there's the whole retiring soon and stuff like that, it is kind of, I have talked to Bricking for, hey, is there like, if he only has one of, like, for example, I wanted the Cantina set, right? Before it sold out. I was like, can you please keep one of those on the side for me? Like, can you make sure, because I can't pay for it now at the time, you know what I mean? Like, that was a few months ago. I'm like, I can't afford it now, but like, I really want the set. Could you put one on the side for me? So I can imagine being in that store, seeing a retired set, maybe one of your Holy Grail sets, a set that you've been wanting to buy, like the Ewok Village, which is beautiful, by the way. But if you guys haven't seen Ewok Village, let me show you why this person was putting it on layaway. Time and time again. This thing is a... Look at this thing. God, I wish I could buy this. I wish they would remake this thing. This is a retired set. But look at how beautiful this thing is. Look at that. Look at the elevation. Look at that. You got big old trees and a little Ewok village and a bunch of Ewoks, and you got all the characters, and like this is beautiful. So this is why this set was being put on layaway. Just you know, just giving you guys some context for that. So as a collector, if there's a Lego set that I see that I know someone else might want to buy and that I can't afford at the moment, I would ask, hey, could you put that on layaway? But it's your responsibility as a business owner to say no. Because you're going to run into these freaks all the time. Of course, they're going to be like, oh, could you put that on the side? Maybe I'll buy it in 2 months. But like, you're going to, half the sets are going to spend their time off the shelves because some fucking guy can't afford them and wants to buy them. Like, that's not how you do it. You give these people a limit, man. Don't indulge.
Layaway and then back out on the shelf, just depending on the person who was putting it on layaway. That was completely unique to this collection.
So look, I'll be honest, I don't trust Josh Johnson, but something is weird here.
So a lot of these are, see, like, look at this. Like, so like it says POS final sale price, but it's listed as a layaway, but it's sold for $5.99.
Yeah.
Because it matches with the store sale price.
Okay.
So were they on layaway? Were they accidentally marked layaway on the spreadsheet? What's going on there?
I mean, without seeing the actual sales ticket and seeing what else, like what items were sold together, what else was sold with it, I can't actually see the sales ticket. We had several layaway items in which customers were putting multiple things on layaway, paying for most of one item, and then, or they were buying, 8 different things together and then putting...
Okay, she doesn't know what she's doing. I've changed my mind. She's being honest, but she also mismanaged the store, clearly. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, man. It's like sorry for the layaway joke. It's a layup of a question. What happened with these layaways? She sounds confused and lost her shit, and she cannot give a straight answer right now. I've lost my trust in her. Yeah, I agree with Von Gut Rosewater says, right, what she's also trying to make like a plausible defense for not accounting for the layaway and the bookkeep. It's definitely not a good look for the victims here, but they are still victims. They are still victims. They are still victims. But like, she did a bad job at bookkeeping. Like, that is clear. Like, I'm sure there's a few $1,000s that are lost somewhere within the bad accounting from this lady. Still, Bricks the Minifix should have made Brian whole. It's their corporate at the end of the day. Even if one of their ex-store managers mismanaged a collection that was co-signed, y'all, it was under your leadership, under your protection, that man's Lego collection.
All of them on layaway and making payments on multiple items at the same time. Our Ewok Village was one of those cases. At some point, he had, I think, like 8 or 9 different items on layaway. So they'd come in and make a payment for a bulk payment. I've got 800 things on layaway. I'm going to make $100 on my payment. One customer in particular would do that, and then when he'd gotten up high enough to pay for one set, we'd pull that set out, mark it as sold. So without seeing the actual tickets and my layaway records, I cannot answer a question any clearer.
That is just adding such a complicating factor to, like, you have $100,000 worth of this guy's Lego on consignment. It's already complicated enough to keep track, and I owe you 10% and 13% in this person. Why are you adding a whole extra layer of complication with the layaway system? Like, come on, lady. Like, come on. Of course there's a few $1,000s that disappeared like this.
Clearer than that.
But I even found more than that in this POS data. I also found about $10,000 in sales that matched Brian's collection that were not marked as sold under this inventory spreadsheet.
Some of our things that were not found were explained by the POS system because they were found in the POS system as being sold. So like they weren't marked on the spreadsheet, but they were marked as sold via the POS system. And this is about $10,000 worth of Lego that basically were matched.
See, and I don't know. Take anything happening from, let's see, sorry, I'm trying to do math here. I don't know without being able to see.
Like, I don't think these people robbed them. I don't think these people stole any of the Lego. I don't think these people stole any of the money. I don't think she sold something behind Brian's back and didn't pay him. I just think she did a very bad job keeping track of the sales, and with the layaway complication and with all that, you know, she just kind of got in over her head.
The records, there is a possibility that the consignments were ended when I wasn't at work, and I just didn't go through and pull them up. They didn't get put in a consignment ticket. I hadn't gone through those consignments in a couple of months. I hadn't gone through the inventory in the back room in a couple of months. So it is entirely possible there were sales that were finished that I never clocked as being finished. I don't know that without going through and actually seeing it.
But you're saying it's possible stuff was sold, not updated on this inventory list.
It's entirely possible that stuff did not get...
So she's saying because they were kind of thrown out of the store, she didn't have time to go back and update the sales list, to finish the paperwork, to upkeep the books, to keep up with the books.
Updated on my spreadsheet. I'm not going to sit here and claim it's not possible.
Bubba says, I found most tickets that had a layaway listed on her spreadsheet did not have items with a partial payment. I have the spreadsheet. She stole Brian's 65% by not paying him on layaways. Oh, okay. Damn. So she stole a whole bunch of so she's guilty, huh? So she didn't pay him for the layaway.
It's possible I missed things.
So where does this leave us? I know some people are jumping to conclusions here, but I must remind you that on the night of November 14th, 2024, Crystal Gorman was concerned about Brian getting paid or not getting paid.
He has not been paid his percentage yet, and if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
So she does. Okay, so she is saying he hasn't been paid here.
So ultimately, that's a business thing and not necessarily yours. Brandon will take, he's taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment.
So obviously, one could see that and say she was intending to reconcile with Brian. Maybe she hadn't gotten around to it. And of course, corporate will probably take a more cynical view of what she's doing by printing these receipts. But the point is, regardless of whose side you're on, I think we can all agree there's a lot of weird stuff here on all sides. Abnormal stuff. Sure, maybe you can chalk some of this up to bad record keeping between the U-Haul, the layaway, the $20,000 in Lego sets that corporate called $2,000 to $5,000 that was there that night, the off-book deals. But even if we can't fully know 100%, what these weird things were about, I think they tell a story of what actually happened to Brian's collection. In a way, multiple people, I think, are kind of right, kind of wrong. The Gormans were correct that more of that collection was there that night of the takeover than previously thought. But corporate also alleged that some of it was offsite, and that appears to be partly true, although some of that is disputed, and it looks like, way more of the collection was sold and layawayed than Brian was paid for. But all in all, there's a lot less missing than many people think, especially if your starting number is $200,000. I estimated, and I must emphasize,
there's a lot less missing than people think. God damn it. I'm just trying to think how this all looks for Ben right now. I'm trying to think of Reckless Ben, Shit.
It's estimated with bad records that there's only about $10,000 to $20,000 in Lego that isn't explained by one of these sources. This isn't to say Brian's been fully compensated in Lego that isn't explained by one of with bad records that there's only about $10,000 to $20,000 in Lego that isn't explained by one of these sources. This isn't to say Brian's been fully compensated. Much of this Brian wasn't paid for that I know of. So I estimate he's still out about $50,000 to $83,000 for Lego he wasn't compensated for. And I think honestly that's something that Bricks and Minifigs obviously should handle and make right. Regardless of what a franchisee does, the new one, the old one, the company behind it must stand behind their product, their service, and I can't imagine a better example of a company doing the opposite. Unfortunately, Bricks and Minifigs has chosen to
yeah, again, like $50,000 to $80,000, just make this go away, make this right for Brian Mansell. This would have saved them millions, tens of millions of dollars in horrible PR, and now they are, goddamn, man,
deflect and dodge responsibility at most opportunities and created a really awful customer experience that has snowballed into this crazy series of events. But instead of taking accountability for that, they've taken an aggressive legal strategy, which I told them personally was a horrible idea. As of writing this, Brian Mansell is being sued for $1.3 million as part of a legal campaign against him and Reckless Ben and any of the associates. Remember, Brian is the same guy who lost all these Legos at Bricks and Minifigs store. And I told the CEO and COO that's ridiculous and they should drop this. Look, mistakes have been made by plenty of people here, but there's a lot more people who have inflicted self-owns, the likes of which we've rarely seen.
Yeah. Oh my, yeah, dude, my God, dude. Bricks and Minifigs, if they do not drop the lawsuit against Brian Mansell, we will all, I'll start a campaign to boycott Bricks and Minifigs. Like, who cares?
Choosing the worst possible path at every fork in the road, no pun intended. But the best path to making things right, in my view, is by just making Brian whole and moving on. Drop the aggressive legal strategy. You are a Lego store at the end of the day. You are supposed to be about fun, not about a rerun of Suits. But anyways, that's my investigation. Those are my closing thoughts. And I knew I wanted to approach everyone involved in this whole story with my results and see what they thought to close things out.
Does all that make sense to you? Because I'm showing everyone in this story and saying, hey,
the thing
are
that
any of these
doesn't make
numbers blowing your mind, or is any of this crazy to you?
No, it's not great. But what's crazy, again, like all the photo evidence that both sides have points to there being, sure, $20,000 worth of Lego in this of Star Wars Lego in the store that night, right? I don't know, man. I'm just like, can people understand maybe why there was some confusion and why there was some hesitation when somebody comes in and says, hey, you owe me $60,000 worth of product Lego, and we go, we don't even know who you are. Like, yeah, Crystal mentioned something about consignment on her way out the door.
Motherfucker, you know who the man is, okay? You know, stop being so flippant and disrespectful.
And we go, sure, we'll get that figured out. But then the guy just walks in and demands $60,000 worth of Lego. Like, what am I supposed to do other than say, cool, show me, can you show me the proof?
The problem is there's so much of a dispute on the timeline, and this is what's going to make the story so hard to tell, is like, they say you guys are unreasonable. They tried, and eventually they gave up. But they say they tried, and they were basically met with like
legal threats and threats of long protracted lawsuits that are going to be costly, and that they quoted like it's going to cost you more than what your Lego's worth.
Reasonable requests, things like that. So
verification, documentation, is that unreasonable, you think?
Well, I think they would say they provided the documentation, and you guys say you need more documentation. So I mean, that's kind of the
right. A spread, like I understand, a spreadsheet and a contract are a good start.
Yeah.
What more do you want, bro?
Yeah, but we never got that. That was never sent to us at corporate, by the way.
Y'all do have the spreadsheet though, yeah? Y'all have the spreadsheet.
That was shared online, but months after we asked for it.
It says it's. I'm so confused. It says I'm on the file right now. It says storage used, owned by BAM Franchising Inc. Owner Salem.or bricksandminifigs.com.
What are you looking at?
It says owner Salem.or at bricksandminifigs.com. That's you guys. It says owned by BAM Franchising Inc. It says created September 6, 2024. And when I look at it, this is the Mansell list, I believe.
So this would have been created under so we have the
y'all definitely have this. Y'all
got you right there.
I'll have access to this.
Well, I had no idea. Like so.
What the fuck? You've had access to this the whole time?
Created under so we have the
y'all definitely have this. Y'all have access to this.
Well, I had no idea. Like, so if this is the first that anybody has shown me that a spreadsheet was created using.
Motherfucker had access to this the whole fucking time.
Like Bricks and Minifigs Salem, and all of this stuff was archived. This is the first I've seen that this spreadsheet was created by Crystal. And we don't know how accurate it is, how up to date it was. We don't know a lot of those types of things. And understand, I appreciate you sharing this with us because we had no idea. Again, you don't know what you don't know. And you can't, like, we don't know everything. And we don't go, you know, like, looking in every nook and cranny everywhere. You know, like, we just don't know some of those things. So
God, the stories just become so much less, like, not interesting, but, like, less... It was nice when there was an obvious bad guy and an obvious, like, you know, victim. Now it's like some of it's there, some of it is mismanagement, some of it is layaway, some of it is that. Like, if this does end up being true, I think Ben is in big legal trouble because the way he presented the situation was, and I don't blame him. Fuck these guys. These guys are horrible. They deserve all of the hate that they're getting. But the way it was represented in that video, I think might get Ben in some trouble, unfortunately. I hope not. Oh, Bubba Fat sends a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Bubba. That's so kind. Says, no, they didn't. They can gain access, though. They need to know the spreadsheet exists. So they didn't know this thing existed, but they had access to it. Okay. Thank you for the clarification, Bubba, and thank you so much for the kind, generous donation.
if that's there, we can now have our team go look for that.
When it comes right down to it, they're going to have to make a judgment call and say, who's telling the truth? The people who were taking all the pictures and say, and we couldn't take pictures of everything the night of, but we're being honest consistently, and the people who are saying, there was $5,000 there. Really? Like, that makes no sense. We've got the evidence, and yes, there's a discrepancy. We acknowledge we did not take pictures of everything, but does that mean that the discrepancy is, oh, and therefore these missing, percentage, whatever that would be, 5%, is some magical other place? Or it was sitting there in the store and we didn't get pictures of it.
If I messed up,
explanation.
If I messed up on my record keeping, I will take accountability for that. It's possible. If my staff didn't draw attention that consignments had left out, so I'd move them to the thing. Any of that, I will take accountability to that. I am more than willing to do that. I need BAM to show me those tickets.
As they promised to do.
I will sit down with Brian and talk this over and figure out what we missed and where it was missed and how it was missed and make that right with him.
I mean, that's new information no one's ever found out, so that's like awesome. They're gonna lose hundreds of millions of dollars because of their own wrongdoing. They're literally gonna destroy their entire company because they're this stubborn over maybe $20,000 worth of Lego.
Sure, I'll be keeping you in the loop with what
Nice. I'm excited. This was good work. My other final thoughts is, dude, you solved it, dude. That's awesome.
The Gormans are suing Bricks and Minifigs. The lawsuit claims Brian's collection had an original aggregate value of around 250K. Bubba Fett says it was just a Google sheet under Crystal's email for being a store owner. She would need to provide them the link and make them aware. Okay, that makes sense. So, Bubba, would you say there's been a shift now in the Lego community? And people are starting to not remove any blame from Bricks and Minifigs. That is obviously still their fault primarily. But are people starting to look at this as a little bit more gray, less black and white? Maybe the Gormans have a little bit more to do with this than we thought previously? That was fantastic. That was fucking great. So, okay, BAM are still assholes. Bricks and Minifigs are still horrible. They still owe Brian Mansell a lot of money. They still, the way they've treated him and the fact that they're suing him. Can you imagine the fact that they screwed this man over? He's been fucked over by their company and they're still suing the guy. Like, that is fucking insane. But I think Reckless Ben, I think while very well intentioned, might find himself in some legal trouble because things seem to be a lot more gray than he made it out to seem in his video. He clearly kind of took a side in his video and was like Bricks and again, he had every reason to make Bricks and Minifigs look like a villain because they called the cops on him over and over again. They accused him of making bomb threats. They threatened him and Brian Mansell with long, expensive lawsuits. So they were not innocent here, but it is a bit more complicated, I think, right? But this is an interesting saga. This is an interesting saga. There's still a lot of places where this could go. I just hope Reckless Ben doesn't end up in jail and doesn't end up bankrupt because of this. You know, I would rather see Bricks and Minifigs go bankrupt because of how they've been treating their, you know, how they treated Brian Mansell and how they've been trying to cover this up. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. And we're going to leave it at that, folks. We're just going to do the reaction for today. To everybody who tuned in. So Bubba Fat says there are errors on all sides. Like, why did Crystal have a sheet with storage items on it, and Brian take that list and go at BAM? Von Gut agrees, says it was a little bit more fun when it seemed like the unanimous, unambiguously 200,000 was stolen, and it was just so much more simple. How was the story Ben told, and how it's definitely not quite that simple? Exactly. But I mean, hey, look, this is what we get with the benefit of time. I just hope that Brian Mansell gets his money, that the lawsuit is dropped against them, because $1.3 million in damages is insane, and that would ruin both of them. So no amount of GoFundMe money is going to cover that. So yeah, but again, that Ewok village, if anyone feels like sending me an Ewok village, I will not say no. I will gladly accept your Ewok village. Let's see how much these things go for on eBay. These things are fucking crazy expensive. Look at that. Why are the pictures not popping up? Okay. Let's quickly look at eBay. Look at that. $860. $620. This one's pre-owned. This one's new. Look at this. Brand new and sealed. $860. This is fucking insane. How many minifigs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's in one cart. 1,050, 950, 1,000. Holy shit, man. Yeah, this really is a holy grail set. This is insane. Anyways, with all of that, folks, thank you so much for everybody who tuned in today, and a special thank you to Marina, to Samsam, to Janetti Sketty for gifting memberships, to Bubba Fat for the lovely super chat at the end, and for Ators as well. You guys are awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'll be back possibly tomorrow with another stream on this channel, so just stay tuned. I'm just trying to decide whether I stream on this channel or my second channel. Guys, we love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I have been your host, Anthony, aka Tino. This has been my Playroom. I will see you next time with more Bricks and Minifigs, Lego drama, Lego live builds, gaming, reviews, all that good stuff, folks. We don't just talk about Lego drama here. We're Lego fans. So we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.